Welcome to True Life Lessons, where we explore the deepest corners of the human soul to find meaning in our journey. Meet Robert, a wealthy CEO who stood at the pinnacle of success, commanding respect from everyone who walked into his building. Despite the immense wealth and accolades he had accumulated over the decades, his heart felt like an empty room echoing with silence. He would return home to a palace that felt more like a museum, surrounded by expensive objects, but devoid of any warmth. Every night he asked himself the same haunting question: is this all there is to life, or did I miss something? Driven by a desperate need for answers, he decided to leave his empire behind for a while and seek true wisdom. He had heard rumors of an old wise man named Nathan who lived deep within the ancient woods, far from society. Leaving his technology and status behind, he walked into the embrace of nature, hoping to find the peace he so desired. The journey was physically demanding for a man used to comfort, but his spirit pushed him forward with a renewed purpose. Finally, as the sun began to set, he spotted a humble wooden cabin nestled quietly amidst the vibrant green forest clearing. There sat Nathan, an elder whose presence radiated a calmness that seemed to silence the chaotic noise in Robert's busy mind. Robert approached with humility, introducing himself not as a CEO, but as a lost soul seeking guidance for a troubled heart. He poured out his story, explaining how he had achieved everything the world calls success, yet felt completely hollow inside. The old man listened patiently, his eyes reflecting the depth of the forest, understanding the silent burden Robert had been carrying. Instead of offering a philosophical lecture, Nathan stood up and retrieved 2 wooden buckets that looked ancient and weathered by time. One of the buckets was perfect and sturdy, but the other had a significant crack that ran down its wooden side. He handed the yoke to Robert and pointed toward the river, instructing him to fetch water for the dry well nearby. Robert noticed the flaw in the bucket immediately, but remained silent, trusting that the wise man had a reason for this task. He began his labor, walking down the winding path to the riverbank and filling both containers to the brim with water. As he made his way back up the steep trail, the water began to leak steadily from the cracks in the wood. By the time he reached the well, the perfect bucket was full, but the cracked one had lost half its contents. He emptied what was left into the well, feeling a mix of physical exhaustion and frustration at the inefficiency of the tool. The next day, the routine continued. Step by step, drop by drop, the water escaped, mocking his efforts to fill the well. He tried to rush up the hill to save the water, but his haste only caused more to splash and spill out. Under the scorching sun of the 3rd day, the physical toll was heavy, and the mental burden of failure was heavier. He looked at the dry ground, absorbing the precious water he was working so hard to carry, feeling completely useless and foolish. By the 4th day, resentment grew. He wondered why a wise man would insist on using a broken tool for such work. Nathan passed by, offering no explanation, just a gentle nod that urged Robert to continue despite the apparent futility of the task. He picked up the burden again, resigning himself to the process, stopping his fight against the reality of the leaking bucket. On the 5th day, the rhythm of walking and the sound of dripping water became a meditation, quieting his rebellious thoughts. He began to observe the leak closely, noticing how the water flowed through the imperfections of the wood, catching the sunlight. By day 6, his focus shifted from the destination to the journey itself, paying attention to the surroundings he had previously ignored. Finally, the week ended. Robert set the buckets down before the master, feeling strong in body but defeated in his objective. He looked at the old man and confessed his frustration, apologizing for wasting so much water due to the broken bucket. "I have failed you," Robert said. "This bucket is flawed, and despite my best efforts, It delivers only half of what it should." The wise man smiled, his eyes twinkling with a secret. He shook his head gently and told Robert he had not failed. "Did you notice nothing on your path?" Nathan asked. "Did you not see what happened on the side of the cracked bucket?" Robert was confused. He had been so focused on the leak and his failure that he had missed the world around him. "Come with me," the old man said. "Let us walk the path one more time and look closely at what you have created." As they walked, Robert looked down, where there was once only dry dust. Now there were patches of vibrant green grass. And not just grass. Beautiful wildflowers were blooming in a riot of colors, lining the exact path of the leaking water. Robert stopped in his tracks, stunned by the beauty that had sprung up from the barren earth while he was busy complaining. "I knew about the crack," Nathan explained, "so I planted flower seeds on this side of the path before you arrived. Every day, while you felt you were losing water, you were actually watering these seeds, bringing new life to this dry land. Without that crack, and without your leaking water, there would be no flowers to grace this path and feed the bees. Look at the other side where the perfect bucket passed. It remains dry and barren, for it gave nothing back to the earth." Robert looked at the old bucket in his hand with new eyes. He no longer saw a failure, but a vessel of creation. "We are all like these buckets," Nathan said softly. "We all have our own unique flaws, cracks, and imperfections. You have spent your life trying to be the perfect bucket, hiding your cracks, fearing that you are not good enough. But it is often our cracks and our vulnerabilities that allow us to connect with others and bring beauty to the world." Robert realized that his struggles and his perceived weaknesses were not things to be ashamed of, but part of his unique contribution. He understood that perfection is an illusion, and that true happiness comes from accepting ourselves exactly as we are, cracks and all. Nature does not seek straight lines or perfection. It thrives on the irregular, the broken, and the adaptive ways of life. With a heart full of gratitude, Robert said goodbye to the wise man, carrying a lesson that was worth more than his fortune. He returned to the city not as a conqueror seeking more, but as a gardener ready to nurture the growth around him. He began to share his struggles with his team, showing his vulnerability, and in doing so he built stronger, deeper connections. The emptiness in his heart was filled with the realization that even his flaws could be a source of life for others. We all have our unique flaws. We are all cracked buckets. But it is through these cracks that our light shines through. Don't be afraid of your imperfections. Embrace them. They may be the very thing that causes flowers to bloom in someone's desert. If you feel broken today, remember the cracked bucket. Your perceived failure might be a blessing in disguise, waiting to be revealed. Your efforts are never truly wasted. Even when you think you are leaking, you are leaving a trail of grace behind you, so walk your path with confidence, carry your load, cracks and all, and trust that life is using you in beautiful ways. Success is not about being watertight and perfect. It is about how much life and beauty you can nurture along the way. Let us stop judging ourselves and others for our flaws. Instead, let us look for the flowers that grow because of them. In a world that demands perfection, be brave enough to be real. Be brave enough to let your true self be seen. As the sun sets on another day, ask yourself, what seeds am I watering with the unique parts of who I am? May you find peace in your journey, may you find value in your struggles, and may you find beauty in your cracks. Remember, without the rain, there are no rainbows. And without the cracks, the light cannot get in, nor can it get out. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope this story has touched your heart and lifted your spirit. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. We would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How have your imperfections shaped your life story? Let's build a community where we celebrate our authentic selves, supporting one another through the ups and downs of this life. Keep shining your light, no matter how broken you may feel. The world needs the unique brightness that only you can offer. This has been True Life Lessons. We are honored to be a part of your day and a part of your growth. Until next time, embrace your journey, love your flaws, and keep growing. Goodbye and take care, my wonderful friends.